Hey everybody, it's Diane Gale here from the blog and YouTube channel Sustainable Slow Living, and today I want to talk to you about how to prepare fresh vegetables, particularly garden fresh, farm fresh vegetables. Vegetables to me are one of the most underrated foods that there is. Once the vegetable season comes and I have fresh vegetables coming at me, that's really primarily what we eat. Every day there's lots of fresh vegetables. And it doesn't matter where your vegetables come from. Most of my life I have been purchasing my vegetables from roadside stands and farm markets as much as I can in the climates that I've lived in. And I have not had my own garden. I do have my garden story. There was a rather large garden when my son was very little, and then there were some failed patio gardens, and then there were 2 small gardens, and that was the last 2 years. And if you follow along, you know that this year I don't have a garden because we are supposed to be moving to North Carolina. But anyway, I have always purchased my garden fresh, my farm fresh vegetables from other people because I didn't have my own garden. The last couple of years when I did have my own garden, it was really a huge blessing to be able to learn to preserve some things. And I have some great recipes from that year that I'm going to bring to you next year when I have a garden. But right now, today, we are going to talk about what it is that you do with farm fresh, garden fresh vegetables once you have them. It's surprising to me that so many people don't know how to cook vegetables. I think they kind of started to take such a back seat in our cuisine that I've been, working with, playing with, loving on, cooking, learning about food for my whole life. And I have had a lot of conversations with a lot of people about a lot of different things concerning foods, and one thing that I have learned is that most home cooks don't really know what to do with vegetables, and they don't really care for them very much because they're plain, and that just isn't how it has to be. So wherever your garden fresh vegetables come from, whether you're going to be picking them yourself or whether you're going to be picking them up at a farm market or a roadside stand, there's a lot of ways to prepare them, and we can talk about those ways today. It'll give you some ideas of what to do in the kitchen. It's going to be pretty useful, I promise. The first thing that you need to really consider when you bring your vegetables home is not the fun part, right? Because the fun part is preparing them. The first thing is that you need to wash them no matter where they came from, and then you need to store them properly. And so there's a lot to learn about that. That's a whole different subject from how to prepare them. So we're not going to touch on it too much today, but leafy greens usually need to be in a vegetable-friendly bag and kept in a drawer in the refrigerator, and tomatoes should never be refrigerated. You want to keep them out on the counter and you want to eat on them until they're gone. Most other veggies can just be kept in the refrigerator drawer. There are different levels of humidity for each one. Honestly, I keep my humidity on both of my refrigerator drawers between low and medium, and I do just fine. Garden fresh veggies tend to last longer than other veggies, so you have that to your advantage. But when you're shopping for them, just buy enough for the week, or buy enough for 4 or 5 days if you don't expect to eat home a couple days. And that way you won't have to be worrying about getting them all eaten up before they start to go bad. So breakfast is one of the meals that people eat the least amount of vegetables at. Some people do eat some fruits, which is great, but veggies are kind of overlooked a lot of the time, at least on the daily basis, right? Maybe when you eat out, you have an omelet or you have a breakfast mess, or you have something like that, but on the daily at home. And what I do in order to be able to get more vegetables and therefore more variety into my breakfasts is I will take peppers and onions and even zucchini. Just about any of my veggies that I feel are omelet friendly. And I will chop them, usually pretty small, and saute them together and keep it in the fridge for the week. And then I can throw it in an omelet. I can throw it just in scrambled eggs and serve them by themselves, or even over home fries. Over home fries, we call it a breakfast mess in our house. You can take and you can put them in, just put them in home fries and just have home fries and veggies for breakfast. I'll often take toast and put cream cheese on it or avocado on it, and then spread it with some of those sauteed veggies. It's delicious. You can eat it open faced like that. It's a little meal in itself, and it's very, very tasty. And then there is the king of breakfasts in my house. Probably because I am the breakfast sandwich eater, the breakfast sandwich gets to be the king of breakfast around here. And I learned in Puerto Rico to put lettuce and tomato on my breakfast sandwiches, which translated into lettuce, tomato, onion to me. And I will put one or both or two or all three of those on a breakfast sandwich at any time. And I will also take those sauteed veggies out of the fridge and warm them up and put them on top of my breakfast sandwich as well. And it's really delicious. It seems like a weird concept, but shredded lettuce and tomato and onion on like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, or sausage, egg, and cheese is my favorite, is a really good thing. And I mean, it just increases the nutritional value of what you're eating, so why not, right? At least give it a try. And then there is the breakfast smoothie. And smoothies can be made with a lot of veggies. I honestly don't know a lot about doing that because it's not something that I really do. I tend to make my smoothies with fruit. But I mean, I know you can get a lot of your greens and stuff, a lot of the nutrition from your greens you can get into your diet by just like making a banana and apple smoothie and putting spinach in it. I did taste quite a few different smoothies when we were living in California because, you know, they were popular takeout items. You could walk into just about any drink place and get a smoothie. So I have had a lot of them and they're very good. Carrot juice and tomato juice for breakfast, yummy, right? A Virgin Bloody Mary, who doesn't want that for breakfast? So breakfast is an easy way to incorporate veggies into our diet. What we have to do is we have to make that little bit of effort to saute some of them in the beginning of the week and get them in the fridge so that we have that available to us to cook with all week long. And then we will get them in our diet. Okay, so on to lunch. How do you get your garden fresh veggies into your lunchtime routine? How do you prepare them in order to, you know, get an enjoyable lunch out of them? And the first thing, of course, that we all think of is the salad, right? And salad is one of my favorite things, so I'm not going to argue with that. Especially if you're doing like some kind of healthy homemade salad dressing so that your salad is actually healthy for you. And if you want to put some proteins on top of it, try some beans. Beans are a much better option than putting, you know, a lot of meat, especially processed meat. You definitely want to avoid the processed meat, right? Chef salad, I'm sorry, I love you, but I just don't eat them that often. It's either farm fresh meat or beans. I do sometimes put some cheese. Cheese is great. Nuts, seeds, croutons, and all kinds of veggies. Shred them, slice them, get them on top of that salad, get some dressing on there, and you are ready to go for lunch. But do you want salad for lunch? Probably not as much as we eat it. It's kind of a go-to. But what about a wrap? Okay, a wrap is really just kind of a salad rolled up in a tortilla. And they're fabulous. And again, beans and cheese, they'll make them hearty and they'll help them to satiate. And two of my favorite lunches to prepare, particularly when I'm at home, is a roasted vegetable grilled cheese and a veggie top baked potatoes. I like to make them when I have the afternoon at home because there's a little bit of pre-prep to them, but they are still great leftover, like to make them and take them cold as a lunch. But anyway, like with a grilled cheese sandwich, I will take a little array of vegetables, sometimes like broccoli and cauliflower and onions, and sometimes like peppers and onions, and another thing that I like to do is very thinly sliced zucchini or yellow squash. And then I'll cut all my veggies up and I'll roll them in oil and salt and pepper and garlic and put them on a roasting pan. You let them roast for about 25 or 30 minutes, depending, you know, on the thickness that you've cut them. And then you can just stuff them inside a grilled cheese. You know, 2 or 3 cheeses on your favorite homemade bread, especially a nice big sourdough. Oh my goodness. And they're fabulous. I mean, they're really, really good. And just eat it just like that, and it's done in no time at all. My other favorite for at home is the baked potato. And, you know, self-explanatory, right? Your potato has to go in the oven. And then I usually top it with some beans. I do beans a lot as a filler, or like some cheese, a little bit of sour cream. Like you want a little bit of something, right, to give it some oomph. And then all kinds of roasted or grilled veggies thrown right on top of that. Out of this world. And then 2 things that are really great to take with you because you can make them ahead easily are Buddha bowls and pasta salad. So let's talk about Buddha bowls. A Buddha bowl is basically rice or some other kind of grain done with fresh or cooked veggies, things like nuts and seeds, and dressing on top, and you know, you serve it cold and you just mix it together as you eat it. They're delicious. They can be made ahead of time. You can put any kind of veggies in there that your heart desires. Veggies can be cut up and put in there raw, or they can be sauteed, or there can be a mixture of both. You can just do it any way that you like it. And often beans are used in Buddha bowls as well. Buddha bowls are usually vegan to the best of my knowledge. I haven't really seen them done other ways, but I do sometimes put a protein in, a chicken or pork or steak, sometimes just whatever was left over from dinner I'll put in my Buddha bowl, and then it makes a great takeout lunch. And pasta salad is the same kind of concept, right? Like most pasta salads have like some cut up ham and some cut up provolone, or you know, some kind of the Italian meats, pepperoni, and they're great that way. Those meats aren't that great for you, but it's not bad to put them in your pasta salad every once in a while. But I will make a really hearty pasta salad with chunks of cooked farm fresh chicken breast, and I'll throw a can of beans into the salad, you know, like a regular size batch, right? A pound or whatever it is of pasta that you make, and just experiment. But veggies, put lots and lots of veggies in there, and your lunches will be better, whether you're at home or you're on the run, and you'll feel better, and that's very important. And then dinner. So some of the ways to get more veggies into your dinner: make a stuffed zucchini boat and stuff it full of veggies. Don't focus as much on the sausage and some of that stuff that they usually put in. Focus more on high veggie content. Put some cheese on there if you want to, and a little bit of marinara sauce. Hopefully you can make your own marinara sauce from some garden fresh tomatoes, because it is extraordinary, and you have got yourself one delicious filling dinner that is just packed full of nutrition from farm fresh vegetables. Another thing that you can do is start to use zucchini and yellow squash in place of pastas. So, you know, in a lasagna, you can use a thin sliced zucchini. The yellow squash doesn't hold up as well, but it will still work. You can also use a thin sliced eggplant in place of the noodle. And it's extraordinarily delicious. It is really, really, really good. And it eliminates those, you know, the pasta, the starch, and the carbs from the meal. And I don't think there's anything wrong with starch and carbs, but sometimes you might want a lighter meal. It just has a little bit more of a nutritional impact. You can feel the difference when you eat all of the veggies and pull out some of that, you know, the carbs, especially pasta from the store is processed carbs. So, you know, that's a whole other subject. You can also, like I said, make a big batch of a chunky marinara sauce. There are so many ways to serve that. You can put it in lasagna. You can put it over any kind of pasta. And honestly, when fall comes and I make my first big pot of sauce, I eat dishes of sauce with just like homemade fresh garlic bread for dinner. They're out of this world. Or just, you know, a dish of 3 big meatballs and some homemade sauce and, you know, some garlic bread and good stuff, right? And then there are 3 ways that I dump veggies, meaning that I use a lot of veggies in my meals in the kitchen for dinner. And one of those is tacos, one of those is pizza, and one of those is stir fries. Any one of those things, you can use a plethora of veggies. You can make up your own. You know, you can decide what it is you're going to put in there, and they're out of this world. Our stir fries in the summertime usually don't have a protein in them at all. It is usually a pasta or a rice and a ton of veggies. We do a sweet and sour, we do a teriyaki, we do a sesame ginger, we do butter garlic parmesan. Stir fries are great because when you start to get to the end of the week, if there's veggies that you haven't used, you can just take them all and put them right in your stir fry. You can do the same kind of thing with tacos. I mean, there's your traditional, like, you know, you're gonna have your lettuce and your tomato and your jalapenos and, you know, that kind of thing on your taco. But you can also throw any veggies that you want to in a taco. And you can make a vegan taco. Use beans instead of beef, and just load it up with all kinds of roasted or sauteed veggies. Put some sour cream topping on it, a little bit of cheese if you want it. It's out of this world. Great veggie dump. And then the other really fabulous veggie dump is pizza. We have always done our own homemade pizza crust. That's been a thing for us. I just started to experiment with sourdough pizza crusts, and I'm going to start experimenting with making pizza right in my cast iron skillet. So making the crust right in the skillet and filling it all and putting it in the oven. It's going to be super easy. And pizza's a great veggie dump because, again, saute whatever you have, roast whatever you have, and then just throw it all on a pizza. And you can, you know, put some sausage or bacon or pepperoni on there if you want. You can put any other meat on there that you want. You can put any kind of sauce that you want. We will often make pizzas with barbecue sauce, with buffalo sauce, with Alfredo sauce. There's a spinach artichoke sauce that we put on our pizzas, or, you know, a regular pizza sauce. Just anything that makes you happy. Load it up with veggies, put your cheese on it, put it in the oven, and enjoy. It's a quick, easy dinner. It's a great way to use up veggies at the end of the week. Take advantage of it. So I hope that this gives you some ideas about how you are going to prepare your next batch of garden fresh veggies. And if you aren't already purchasing garden fresh veggies once a week, please do. They make all the difference in the world. They are definitely, they deserve to be the star of the show sometimes. And just start with a small quantity so that you don't overwhelm yourself, and so that you're not chasing after the refrigerator all week trying to make sure that all of your veggies get used up. If all your veggies don't get used up and you're getting close to the end of the week, then make yourself a stir fry or a pizza or some tacos and take and throw your veggies all on top. You can make your pizza as easy as cutting a loaf of French bread in half, putting some pizza sauce and some cheese on it, and putting your veggies on top and just sticking it right in the oven. You'll have an amazing French bread pizza in no time. Don't forget the salt, pepper, garlic, because it's worth the effort, and you'll be glad you took the time. I start dreaming about fresh veggies when I start looking at my seed catalogs in January. Everything that I see in my seed catalog, I can just sit and dream about what I want to do with it in the kitchen. I'm a little bit of an addict here, I'm not gonna lie. I just want everyone else to get the pleasure out of them that I get out of them. So again, I hope that I have given you some ideas about what to do with them today, and I hope that you embrace them in your kitchen and you make great new dishes that you're gonna love. I'm so glad that you joined me here today. It's always a pleasure having you here, and we're going to get together again really soon.